Ultimates versus Gentlemates. Gentlemates trying to make it to that grand finals. Long way to go. This is the next step. It's a big one. Ultimates versus Gentlemates to make it through the playoffs.
This weekend has been a little questionable for some players on these teams. Both strong starts, but rough finishes might be in the cards for someone here. Game one brought to you guys by Progressive. James, this is gonna be interesting.
It really is. You know, Gentlemates are looking really good. They're the EU4 seed, but they haven't really been playing like it. They can't have come in here and really impressed me as well. You heard T-Bates actually picking Gentlemates as well. So we'll see how it goes. This is a big one for the EU versus NA rivalries that so far EU is looking like they're coming out on the upper hand of that one again.
Yeah, this is it's been a rough day for all the NA fans out there, although Gentlemates, I will say, have been pretty surprising in a good way, I think. Of course, the immense amount of pressure that is on their backs to perform this weekend is a lot to deal with, but one step at a time, it has been slowly working in their favor here. Game number one, though, pretty decent amount of pressure coming out from the Ultimates, although it might dissipate with Seiko taking this one away. 50 down. Chronic trying to keep it out. The floater off the crossbar. And I think that's the cleanup. You saw both players commit on the back line of defense, and Eugen just saw the wide open net.
Strong start for Gentlemates. You see LJ bumping Chronic to oblivion.
Unfortunate. Let's see what we get off the kickoff here. Juicy. This one goes back on him. LJ just enough, I think, to make the race. He does. First killer's gonna try and finish it. Did take their boost on it. That means defense gonna be a little bit slower here. Another beat from the Ultimate. Shots ping-ponging all the way around the field, though, keeps Gentlemates out.
Ultimates had some good pressure early on. Right now, we're seeing them have to fend off these shots. Juicy, one of the top scorers right now in the event, was threatening a shot there. First killer does get that double off the sidewall. Eugen a little bit awkward. You can see him staying on the sidewall, defends the shot nicely, but this is boost for LJ.
LJ still trying to keep it going. Trying desperately. He wanted that center over to Chronic. Instead, it's first killer on the solo play. No space for the shot on net here instead. Gentlemates are doing a good job of anticipating all these shots coming towards their way. Little bit of a clear. Not enough to make the breakaway for Gentlemates, but it does get them out of their box task.
Insane control from first killer around his own corner as well, and now it's allowed the Ultimates to move all the way upfield. First killer with boost as well, trying to find a teammate, but Juicy shuts the play down. Eugen playing off the opponent's hit, took that to the corner, but first killer steps in yet again to relieve the pressure.
Second half of this game underway here. Gonna see what the Gentlemates can work with. Eugen, a double tap opportunity, just a little bit low and out front, but even just having the space to be able to do something like that.
And for LJ not to make contact as well,
exactly,
preventing the bounce off the backboard. This is a nice, strong start for Gentlemates.
First killer trying to follow it up. Ultimates were playing close to each other on this one, but that might have been to their detriment. You see Juicy sneaking in. Seiko but a little bit further back on that, and I expect it. Ultimates are a top shooting team. Once they get into the groove of it, it is hard to slow them down, but no connect on the catch out, maybe on the low ground, but LJ is there.
LJ stopping that shot, but multiple threatening approaches by Gentlemates, and here's another one. The double tap denied. Juicy bumped off the ball. He recovers off the ceiling to get back. Trying to bump first killer, but first killer does get that pass out to the middle. Chronic passes it back to first killer, but they run into each other, and that slows down the attack that first killer was trying to put on.
Demo in the back end too. This is something that's been missing just a tiny bit, is that crazy aggression that the Ultimates can bring to the table. That might be their one hope of really keeping Gentlemates a little bit further back, although Eugen's gonna solo it on his own. You saw that touch there over it in James. There was no way he was getting his nose up.
First killer was in reverse before that, creeped up a little bit too much, and Eugen spots the opening and pounces on it. Gentlemates 2-0 over Ultimates. And you know, this is going back to T-Bates' prediction. I feel like the Gentlemates, you know, they weren't being talked about as much coming into this event, but slowly they are really gaining momentum, putting up really good results. They are such a threatening team.
They really and truly are. I think if anybody looks at it from the broader perspective, when you have even a lower tier EU team, right? A lot of the times versus the top of NA, it starts to even itself out a little bit more.
I think EU's on its own tier. It feels like EU's on its own tier. It's the EU, any team on the EU tier, you got to watch out.
That's like the former EU bias in me. I was like trying to appreciate North America.
But North America going to make a comeback. Chronic on the approach. Tried to go low under Juicy, had the door shut on him, and then all the way on the opposite side of the field, Juicy walks it. And that was a bold attempt by Chronic.
It was another cheat up from First Killer, just a little too antsy on the play. I think he wanted to do something where there was a world who was backing up Chronic, and instead it's just one tiny catch out turns into an open net again. Gentlemates are gonna capitalize on it. I feel like every time now, the Ultimates, they just wait for them to make a mistake. Gonna see if they can find another one here. Eugen solo down over to Juicy, cut off by Chronic.
Field pass. Eugen falling with no boost, couldn't get out of the way of that ball even if he wanted to. Ended up blocking his teammate's shot. Eugen gives it back right back to LJ. LJ going for a dunk. Rebound. Isn't going to do much. First Killer hoping to save some face here for the Ultimates, but it looks like Gentlemates might get another one. First Killer off his own back wall, just trying to get this ball down to the ground to start the next game. Oh, he's going to keep it up.
Respect. It's okay. You know, definitely going to be a challenge, not an impossible feat, but the Ultimates, you know, definitely defensively need to get it together a little bit more. There were these moments like we saw where, you know, third man would cheat up just a little bit too far past midline. Gentlemates would find the gap in the defense and take advantage. They're trying to do it, just smack in their faces right now. Off the backboard, Eugen's gonna try and follow it up. They bump him off the double tap to Nat, but it's not enough to stop them.
More of what we saw in game one. First Killer, going for a bump here. And that shot is denied by Eugen. Saw the idea from the Ultimates. LJ finds Chronic. Chronic will pop it up high. First Killer makes it a little bit too high for him. He's not able to do much with that ball, but LJ trying to pick up the pieces here. Couldn't land the bump though. And we saw, you know, the Ultimates even late trying to get something going. Chronic tried to go low under Juicy. Juicy spotted it out, ended up scoring on the other end. Offensively, you know, you really hope that somebody on the Ultimates can step up. We've seen First Killer have the ability to 1v3. There's a demo. That should be enough to get the first goal for the Ultimates.
There was so much going on in the background, but this is where the Ultimates thrive, when all three members of the team are involved on this one. Chronic going for the demo. First Killer just making sure it stayed in their possession enough for LJ to come in and just slot that one on through. Ultimates finally secure not only a point, but a lead in the series.
Big goal there. Everyone getting involved, like you said, Herc. Seems like you have to with how good these defenses are nowadays, but we have seen First Killer 1v3, even at this event. But you have to have a dynamic offense, especially against these teams that have difficult defenses to beat. And so we'll see what else Ultimates can bring, or if Gentlemates will be bouncing back.
Let's see what they can do to at least bounce out of their own half. They're stuck for now.
Eugen was already in the air.
Eugen was already up, and he's like, okay, somebody's got to do something a little braver to get us on out, and he does. Seiko pitch off the side to center to Juicy. Juicy not able to go under Chronic on this one. You can see FK lurking in the back, defensively just waiting for that next shot to come through, but Chronic, I mean, he's stepping up in a big way right now for the Ultimates.
That landing that demo, that made it an easy goal for LJ. There's still a lot of game left in game two. Seiko trying to hunt down First Killer on the bump. Chronic will pop it back up to First Killer. It's a little bit too far out of reach, and we've seen that a couple times now where First Killer is that player looking for the outlet pass, but the pass is too high and too hard.
Yeah, right now I think Ultimate's got to be a little bit more patient with each other on this one. Somebody at most times seems to be a little bit ahead of the rest, and it's causing these gaps that you Gentlemates aren't recognizing right now. Chronic's taking his time with this one in the corner there. A lot of the times, though, they have been able to hold on to possession in that corner. Most teams would lose it there. Seiko pincher on the side. Juicy, no center to him. Instead, they take the demo. They still keep the play in action.
That first killer was struggling in that corner. Wasn't able to deny the corner boost. Couldn't get back in the play. Ended up getting demoed, but now is boosted up back into the play. But Juicy gets it by him. LJ lets it through as well. Chronic's awkward. Seiko denied by first killer, but everyone's low on boost for the ultimates.
Right now, the ultimates just made the monstrous saves and transition out, all on the lowest boost. They managed to get some resources on this one, but Gentlemen, they had to retreat in time. They did manage to do so out in the corner. Eugen's gonna send this one straight back. Enough to have one more touch. Follow, shot, just high.
Wow, and even just thinking back to that last play, the Ultimate's so fortunate not to give one up there. But now LJ at last back makes the stop again. Really challenging defensive situations the Ultimates are finding themselves in, but they still keep it scoreless. And this is the defense that they needed last game, showing up in game 2.
And it's still having to be played too, right? They finally catch out, I think, Gentlemates, although unfortunately for them, patience was not their virtue, and that one goes wide. And Gentlemates take it back. Seiko air dribble all the way down, straight into LJ. And the Ultimates kind of gotta have your heart racing at that point. The amount of times that they have not been able to just stay in that blue side has got to be frustrating.
Still have to be quite careful here. These final 50 seconds, we saw Gen G have leads in these moments, gave them away. Ended up falling in their series. The Ultimates, can they lock this down? Well, Gentlemates get this come from behind victory in the final minute. Chronic trying to get another insurance goal here. There's the double, but that's blocked out by Seiko. Demo on the back line by LJ.
30 seconds left. Ultimates could extend and really just end this one where it is. Eugen's trying to keep it out. Gentlemates got to get out of their half, and they're stuck. Every single touch is keeping the Ultimates in their favor. LJ trying to solo it. First killer, though, is not the worst person to have clean up what you started.
But look at what LJ does. He catches the ball, dribbles it past Eugen, flips it past Juicy. 50 Seiko. LJ took 3 players out of the play, giving that goal opportunity to first killer. Great stuff from LJ.
Now 13 seconds on the clock. Gentlemates are hoping for a miracle off kickoff. There was nothing to be found, maybe in the last few, but again, these touches that are coming in are really just forcing you in your own half, and that's gotta be it. Ultimates found a beautiful way to respond because it was powerful.
LJ just he'll remind you that he's got that same toolkit and he can use it.
Oh, absolutely. This is one of the most powerful teams in the sense that individually they're disgusting. So when you get 3 high-skilled individual players to work together like that, then it becomes near impossible to stop them.
Unfortunately for the Ultimates, that shot not on target, but it was the right idea, going for the infield pass to a power shot. LJ stopped by Seiko. First killer challenging Eugen in the air. LJ sidewall double, lets it through instead of getting the second touch. Drop pass from Chronic down to LJ, and the teamwork is starting to amp up for the Ultimates.
And that is exactly what is going to be needed to come back in this series and swing that momentum continuously in your favor. First minute of gameplay was fairly back and forth on this one. Demo on the back end, though.
And the dodge bump. If that bump is landed on that player, that would have been really, really good for Gentlemates, but the Ultimates able to dodge it, clear it downfield. See Juicy trying to keep this ball in the Gentlemates corner and get it past another attacker. LJ, though, keeps the ball in. Chronic pass off the ceiling, but LJ can't get the touch.
Yeah, Gentlemates are doing a great job right now of just really anticipating where that first initial touch is going to be headed, and it stops the Ultimates in their tracks. Juicy around 1, 50s it all the way to the other side. Seiko's just gonna try and slow LJ down from the ceiling. He does the pinch. Might have been on target, but Chronic has been doing exactly what Gentlemates were, just playing the patient, deep game, waiting for that ball to come to him.
Patience might pay off here for LJ. LJ getting support from Chronic. LJ was thinking about moving upfield. Eugen jumped into the play before the Ultimates could decide what they wanted to do. They give the ball away now. The Gentlemates on the goal line. The Ultimates stacking the goal line now, trying to get this ball out. LJ pops it up to first killer. First killer, does he have enough boost to get that touch? He did, but wasn't able to do much more with it.
Now Chronic, it was up to him to try and get involved, and a lot of the times when you see Chronic start to make that extra push for the ultimates, you can, I don't want to say it's desperation, but it's a new level that gets added into the mix when, you know, what game plan A is not working.
Chronic is a major champion. Chronic helping get that first goal of the game to break the drought for the Ultimates. The Ultimates do have a dynamic offense. I think when the Ultimates are perhaps the most fun to watch, it is those flash and flare solo plays, but we have been seeing the Ultimates also have excellent ball movement so far, keep possession, find each other in space, but so far the Gentlemates have been doing a great job jumping those lanes, shutting down the shooting opportunities, but the tide seems to have turned in favor of the Ultimates so far in the series.
It definitely has, and a big part of that too is the level of aggression that they're bringing this one in. I've seen LJ go up into the Gentlemates have a number of times at this point and just immediately start bumping whoever that last man is in hopes of quickly opening up a path for anyone. There's a demo on the other side. Unfortunately for them, Gentlemates had possession at the time.
Oh, errant touch. Ball out to Chronic. LJ with the redirect on the goal line.
That was the team play that had been missing. They finally find it again, though. Seiko's touch goes straight to the enemy. And the connection between Chronic and LJ is just unbeatable.
You know, so few mistakes in the game, and that one mistake, that one errant touch goes out into the middle of the field. That is the danger zone, and the Ultimates do such a good job of capitalizing on that, and LJ needed to get that redirect. He was in the perfect spot, had the vision, saw the play coming. LJ is having a heck of a series for the Ultimates.
Oh, he absolutely is. I mean, yesterday was almost pretty much like an FK show, right? He got to have his spotlight in his moments, but we've seen LJ really just be on par. Sometimes when either of them is a tiny bit off, the whole thing starts to fall to pieces, but FK's on it, Chronic's on it, but LJ, he is a mechanical monster and has the capability to lead him forward. But on the end of Gentlemates, same can be said, it's just everybody feels so quiet.
Good save, though, from First Killer. Was high up on the backboard, ready to get that stop, but we're still in another one-goal game as we get into this final minute. Last time the Ultimates were able to get a late goal, close things out. Can they do it again?
I need Eugen to really get possession of this ball and hold on to it. Right now, Gentlemates just continue to lose this ball. And another shot on target, bottom corner. They lose possession to Chronic, of all people, and he knew exactly what to do with this. As soon as it dead balled with LJ, that was the easiest long laser shot into that bottom corner.
And it looks like another mistake here from Gentlemates, whether it was just a mechanical mistake from Seiko not getting the touch he was looking for, or just a miscommunication from with Juicy. Juicy didn't even go for that ball, and the Ultimates jump on it, and they easily get that insurance goal. So it looks like the Ultimates in a strong position to take the lead in this series and move to match point.
16 seconds and a 2-goal lead. Not a bad place to be, although that was a little frightening for the Ultimates. 10 seconds on the clock. Shot from Seiko keeps Gentlemates' hope alive.
I think it's a big, it's a big positive for Gentlemates that this is Seiko getting this late goal. I think Seiko, a couple mistakes in this game, gets Gentlemates back into it. See if they do anything off kickoff.
Let's see what we get.
It is a fake kickoff.
The fake. Does pop it in the air. He tried to get the pass to Juicy. It's in! Gentlemates have forced the tie.
They crisscross. It's a double 2-goal, but they crisscross, don't hit the ball. Goes directly back to the last man. That was executed perfectly by Gentlemates.
There was a plan. It was theirs. It's in motion. Now with 3 seconds on the clock, we're going to see if they can steal it. Seiko off the corner. Pops up, still in play. This one, it's a shot off the side! Gentlemates on 0 seconds!
They stole the game!
Completely!
Gentlemates stole that game!
I was more freaking out about was Seiko managing to keep it up. At 1 second, it was either touching that ground or going onto the wall. He managed to pop it up in time, but now all that he's done was give them one step closer to finishing this out over the Ultimates.
Still trying to recover from what I just witnessed. I can't believe the scoreboard. 2-1 in favor of Gentlemates. Even though the Ultimates were winning for a majority of that game, even into the final seconds. What an unbelievable comeback. And now we'll see what the Ultimates can do to recover.
Eugene trying to get this one over to Juicy. Loses possession over to LJ. Juicy plays it back. Unfortunately for him, Seiko got put in a slightly awkward position. Just had the angle to keep that one out. And the Ultimates on their attack right now. Chronic played a little bit patient. LJ hit it with the back of his car.
Well, I think it was just LJ was surprised at the touch coming so late. But wow, the Ultimates, what a skim touch. That one goes wide.
Seiko, he's been trying to do it to him every single time right now on the slower plays like that, but his solo plays been a little bit readable. Right now, first killer back to LJ. LJ trying to play it all around there, but Juicy had him.
That was good ball movement. The shot needed better placement, but we've seen the Ultimates happy to go for those back passes, controlling the ball. They've been looking good. Honestly, you know, a majority of the series, the Ultimates have looked like the better team, except for that crazy collapse in the final seconds. See if the Ultimates can recover, if Gentlemates will be able to close this one out on the back of that insane game steal.
You do gotta ask yourself, how much does this affect the mental a little bit? Ultimates were one of those teams that had to learn to reset their minds very, very quickly, because when they are, you know, emotional, they start to revert back to being very, very individual. And then they start to disconnect and things fall apart very quickly. Juicy demoed off the play. This ball falls over to LJ. LJ down. Right now, Ultimates, they just want out of their half, but they keep getting pushed back. A shot to Eugene. As the Gentlemates transition out was faster than the Ultimates could blink.
And you saw all three of the Ultimates players clogged at the midfield, panicked to get back, and trying to force that ball quickly out into the Ultimates half. And you see good things happen when you get that ball out into the middle of the field, and that was a great 50.
Now the Ultimates gonna try and respond off the kickoff. This one, no space on the backboard given to them. Chronic's gonna keep it with him. Down over to first killer, out into the corner.
And see a little bit of a team bump there in the corner, slowing down the Gentlemates counterattack. Chronic gonna fill the space, trying to attack this ball in the Gentlemates corner. LJ with a 50, kicks out into the middle of the field. It's a double commit by Gentlemates, and a pop high by first killer beats the first line of defense. There's the shot. It's deflected wide. Chronic fakes the back pass. See, it's so chaotic, and there's Chronic staying in the play. Chronic was causing chaos on that play.
Another powerful bump from Chronic to get the Ultimates back into it. Look at him on Seiko, just a wide open net for LJ.
And I think Chronic, even on that play, faking the back pass, turning off the ball, it surprised Eugene, who ended up driving into it, hitting the ball back out into the middle of the goal. And Chronic stays in the play, causing havoc. So that was a huge play from Chronic, who's landed some big demos and big bumps for the Ultimates in this series.
Now time starting to dwindle away. A shot on target. That's a great save from Chronic on the goal line there.
And it's stuff like that that doesn't really show up on the scoreboard. Chronic being able to dodge the aggression and get the save, even covering the net there, but things are getting a little spooky for the Ultimates. Gentlemates on a strong attack here. Juicy in reverse, though. Gets a nice 50, but it's right to first killer, who pops it up. However, pass over to Juicy. Juicy going for the double. It was a very difficult angle. Couldn't get much power on it, and the Ultimates get back for the save.
I mean, that's the level of crazy, though, you're going to be getting out of the Gentlemates offense. Inch off the sidewall from Seiko. Juicy was already up. He fakes it and leaves it for Seiko to clean up.
And it looks like there might have been a bump here. Let's take a look at this. Chronic, yeah, gets bumped, so he couldn't get the ball. And that was such a smart play. The bumps, the aggressive plays, coming out now in the late hours of this series. Gentlemates have the lead with this final minute. We'll see if the Ultimates can now come back. Eugene in the air.
What?
And now Eugene cooking by himself.
I saw him go up for it, but that hang time is actually insane. I feel like at that point, that's just messing with your eyes there, and you're questioning how quickly you need to be able to go for the ball. 2-goal lead, 49 seconds on the clock. Ultimates gotta force their way in. LJ opened up one pass, shot in. Ultimates are still in this.
It's a big-time kickoff goal here. Wonderful control from First Killer. Another massive bump that opens the lane. That time it was LJ who landed the bump, so the Ultimate's not out of it. I think if there's one lesson that you should have learned from this series is that this game is not over. Until that clock strikes 0, the ball hits the ground, and your team has the lead.
Somebody's up by 1.
Yeah, at least.
Well, let's see if Gentlemates can be the ones up by 1. Otherwise, Ultimates are forcing an OT down on the ground. Seiko's in again, and Gentlemates go up by 2.
And another bump play. Seiko slowing down the play, giving time for his teammate to move upfield and be able to land that bump. It looks like Gentlemates have this one.
It really does, but we've seen crazy in less than 30 before. We're gonna see if they can do it again though. As far as the Ultimates are concerned, First Killer off the ceiling leaves this for Chronic. They find their way in.
Man.
I don't know, James.
I think now we just sit back and watch how this is gonna unfold. Another kickoff goal for the Ultimates, who have refused to give up.
Let's see what they bring us here. A demo open, First Killer over to LJ. He got that boost, which means he can pop it up into the air. Goes for the bump play.